Alright, why don't we keep it going? Deathbed. Deafening silence fills your home. You are standing by Mother's bedside. So are Father, Gloria, and Nathan. For an entire day, Mother has been feverish, barely conscious. Gloria never leaves her side, not even for a minute. Nathan has even stopped drinking so he can offer your sister his awkward help. Mother's health has deteriorated greatly over the past year, and the fighting in the family home has dealt a great blow to her. She has been bedridden for a month. You have been to every doctor and folk healer, but no one can heal her. They all tell you the same thing. Lady Lydia's life is in the hands of the twins now. If she passes away, she will not come back. And so you wait by Mother's bed in sorrow, hoping that she will regain consciousness. There is a long silence that no one has the courage to break. Then at last, you hear Nathan's meek voice. "Mother, it's me, Nathan. Can you hear me?" Mother suddenly rises on her elbows. She looks around, her eyes unseeing, beads of sweat forming on her pale forehead. "My son, where are you?" Nathan takes Mother by her thin, emaciated hand. She leans closer to look at him, struggling to recognize his face. "Stephen, were you playing with your younger brothers in the garden? You must be all dirty. Come here. You may not be my son, but I care for you as though you were my own. Oh, what a nice family we have. A blessing from the twins." Nathan is unsure what to do or say. Father strokes his wife's hair. His eyes are two orbs of searing, indescribable pain. "You're a little confused, Lydia. This is Nathan. And the children are all grown up now, remember?" Mother's eyes were bright and alive just now, but the next moment they grow dim again. Her head falls weakly back onto the pillow. "You're right, my husband. The children grew up, but I was never able to teach them how to live in peace with each other. I let you down, Robert. You made a mistake when you took me into your home. You saved my daughter and me for a life of poverty, and how did I repay you?" Gloria cannot take it anymore. "What are you saying, Mother? Don't you dare blame yourself. You did your best. You did all you could." Father looks away, unable to hold back the deluge of tears. Mother's voice, so faint now, calls out to you. "And Angelo, where is he?" With great care, you move closer to Mother. You answer her quietly. You're here, right by her side. "Angelo, I'm so happy to know you're here. I always knew greatness awaited you, ever since you were a little boy. What a shame I won't be there to see it. I couldn't save the Brante family. I will face my punishment at my final judgment. But don't worry, my dears. I am ready to stand before the twins." Lydia Brante's voice trails off. No longer a voice, just a final whisper of life. Will you accept your mother's death, or will you find a way to fight for her life? Well, this seems like a terrible option. But we can share our strength with Mother or unite the family. As good as of an option this seems, it gets us the family at peace, which, if I think about it, we may not be able to be ennobled by the sword if we take this. I'm quite weary of that. So, I kind of like this option right here. Share your strength with Mother. You reinvigorate Mother so she can fight off her illness. You will not give up so easily. There's no reason you have fought tooth and nail to keep this family together all these years, There is a reason you have fought tooth and nail to keep this family together all these years, resolving every dispute within the Brante home. You lean down to Mother's ear and begin to whisper. No, Mother has not failed anyone. She has always given her all to this family. She taught you well, and she took good care of you. She has nothing whatsoever to blame herself for. Your family is torn apart by quarrels, but you are still a family, because of Mother. She has no right to abandon you in this dark hour. With a great effort, Mother lifts her head slightly. She looks over the faces of her family huddled around her bed. Gloria, with her arms folded on her chest, in an unspoken prayer. Nathan, pressing himself timidly against his sister. A faint, humble glimmer of hope appears in Mother's eyes. We are still a family. You stroke Mother's hair gently. Yes, you are. We are all Brantes. We are all family. And as long as we remember that we are one, we will weather any storm and overcome any strife. Times are changing, but the family must face these changes. But was it not Mother who taught us to face life with humility? Mother sits up in bed. The color returns to her pallid cheeks. Mother, you're not leaving us. Brother, your words are better than any medicine. Lydia. Angelo is right. I simply cannot abandon you like this. The twins only know what you'll get up to without me around. The family laughs with relief. The days pass, and Mother's condition continues to improve. The illness that once seemed to slowly releases her from its clutches. Moreover, your family's squabbles have stopped for her sake, at least for now. Well, as nice as that was, I do notice there was no Stephen present for that. But our mother is still alive, so that's good. Seems a little implausible, but hey. It's just a game. Transformation. It has been a long time since your last encounter with Octavia Milanitis. You have come to expect to run into her from time to time in the most unusual of circumstances. But Octavia has all but disappeared, vanished completely from Imperial High Society. Then one night, you come home to find a letter bearing the heraldic serpents of the Milanitis dynasty. The handwriting is not Octavia's. This letter was penned by the Archduke himself. We, Duke Tarquinius of the Great Milanitis dynasty, salute you, Judge Angelo Brante. We have been made aware of your relationship with our daughter Octavia, but we shall leave the particulars of the relationship for another time. Lady Octavia has disappeared. It has been 1 month since she was last seen in any of our holdings within the city of Anizote. We, Archduke Milanitis, expecting you, Brante, to aid us in finding our lost daughter. Tread carefully, lest you attract unwanted attention to this matter. The reputation of the Milanitis dynasty is at stake. Do not fail us, Judge Brante. The Archduke's expectation represents a direct order to find her as soon as possible. To refuse him would spell certain and immeasurable disaster. You begin looking for Octavia immediately. The building where the Circle of Latari used to gather was abandoned long ago. You have no hope of finding any of Octavia's followers there. You decide to search the prefecture archives. You spend an entire morning going through each and every case and report concerned with ancient races and rituals of old, even indirectly. After a long search, you finally stumble upon a familiar name, Alexis L. Lance, a noble from an influential bloodline. You impersonated him when you infiltrated the Circle of Latari 2 years ago. The archives say that L. Lance was reported multiple times to be searching for another faith, and claimed he was seeking to understand the designs of the twins in his own way. You chuckle upon seeing this. The original L. Lance was one of the first humans ennobled by Sir Milanitis himself. The proud name of his forefather is the only thing that has saved the willful Alexis from the Inquisition's pyres. Regardless, he is your only clue to Octavia's whereabouts. You head for the L. Lance mansion at once. You tell the servants at the door that you have an urgent matter to discuss with their master. A tall, gaunt nobleman with a thick beard walks down the stairs to greet you, studying you intently during the introduction. His eyes seem to be locked in a perpetual state of pain, but it is different from the ever-familiar pain and suffering of the common lot. You inform El Lance sternly that you are aware of his involvement in the Circle of Latari, and hint that his noble origins may not save him from an inquisitorial visit this time. You are looking for Octavia Milanitis. Where is she? The eccentric nobleman lets out a rueful chuckle. He is not one to hide the truth. The Circle of Latari is here, within these walls, El Lance tells you, but Lady Milanitis is currently conducting a ritual of the utmost importance. No one may interfere. This rite will continue the Latari to this world, return the Latari to this world. Or rather, it will return the world to the eternal fold of the Latari. You resolutely walk past El Lance in his intellectualizing and march up the stairs. The servants rush to stop you, but one stern glance is enough to remind them of their lot. Upstairs, you hear the familiar droning chant. You fling open the massive gilded double doors leading to the sitting room. The silhouettes in gilded masks and flowing garbs are here, undulating in their dance and producing all manners of strange sounds. In the center of the dancing circle is Octavia Milanitis, lying prostrate on the floor. Octavia is dying. A sea of blood has already been drained from her slashed wrists, but she is alive, still alive. You break through the circle of the Latari followers and rush to Octavia's side. The Arcane opens her dark eyes to look at you, the world reflected in them growing faint and dim. She wheezes a true death rattle. Octavia's body melts away in your arms. Long fingers rests on your shoulder. They belong to Alexis El Lance. Lady Octavia will not be reborn, he tells you. She has left her body and soul alike. She has become Latari. Without a word, the members of the circle slowly part and spread out around the large room. The deed is done, says El Lance. Sending one of our number to communicate with the Latari is the most we could have hoped for. Before you can compose yourself, the creature that was once Octavia flows into the room. Everyone falls silent, watching in wonder and awe. You can still recognize Octavia's features in this creature. It seems to float in the air, its body thinner, its skin now gilded and reflective in the candlelight, its eyes larger and bizarrely elongated. Octavia's followers cover the creature's delicate shoulders with a cloak and stand reverently before it. The creature that was once an Arcane approaches you, slowly, without touching the ground at all. Its voice drones, remote and distant, like an echo from a faraway realm. You have borne witness to a rebirth. The one you call Octavia Milanitis is no more. The mind of the Latari now reside within this body. The one called Octavia has cast off the shackles of your narrow world. She has awakened, now free of blood tide, birth, and other such burdens. She sees the world as it exists in the mind of the Latari, the only true world, for all other worlds exist within it. Neither you nor any other denizen of your illusory world can return the one called Octavia to her cage. You must leave, human Angelo Brante. The one you seek is no more. Well, my goodness, this took a strange turn. We won't be taking these choices. We can let her go, or we can demand that Octavia be returned to her family. Well, gosh. I don't think we want to disappoint the Archduke, and losing a reputation might come back to haunt us. I'm not quite sure where our relationship with Octavia will be going from here, so maybe it's time to sever ties with the strange alien thing now. Demand that Octavia be returned to her family. You insist that Octavia be returned to her father's side. You produce the Archduke's letter and extend it to the creature that was once Octavia. You must return to Serpent Bird at once, you say. The Archduke demands it. The creature takes a brief look at the letter, and, for a moment, its face contorts into Octavia's familiar furious scowl. You do not understand. The Latari are not a part of the one called Octavia's illusionary world. The Latari care not for this world. We contain within all of us the peoples and all the worlds that may be. Unhand us, human Brante. But you do not let go. And then Octavia turns her head and looks at you. The creature's eyes are nothing but emptiness, darkness. It swallows you in an instant. For an unknown time, you cease to exist. No family, no calling, no people, no things. Never born, never died, never lived. You ought to be terrified, you realize. But the man who ought to be terrified has ceased to exist just the same. How long it lasts, you cannot tell. You regain consciousness in your bed back home. The servants say a strange, gaunt, bearded man brought your unconscious body home in his carriage last night. He said something odd when he handed you over. He faced the truth and failed to accept it. Those were his words. As soon as you recover from this experience, you head to Castle Serpenverda. The Archduke will not tolerate any delays when it comes to his daughter's fate. The guards escort you to the ancient throne room, the same room where Octavia once met you herself. On the throne sits the Archduke, sullen and dour. His face resembles that of a bird of prey. His lips are tightly pressed. His body is hunched and tensed. You feel before the reigning lord of the province. You kneel. I have no time for formalities, Brante. Tell me what happened to Octavia. You remain kneeling, your eyes cast down. You tell him about everything that happened at the Circle of Latari, and explain the mystery of rebirth of Octavia Milanitis. You describe how you attempted to stop the ritual and return Octavia to her family estate. But the creature that was once her told you that Octavia was no more. Archduke Milanitis listens, showing no emotion, but his hand clutches at his scepter, harder and harder with every word. Does he even believe what you are saying? After you finish, he remains silent for a long while, thinking. Finally, he speaks. Would that you had lied to me, Brante. You would have told me no lies. I know what my daughter is capable of. What happens now is none of your concern. You will forget any ties you had to Octavia, as well as my orders, forever. I intend to repay my debts to your family. Nobility of the province will know about my gratitude to you. But tread lightly, Sir Angelo, for my favor does not last forever. Farewell. The high road takes you back to Anazote. Empty in the dark night, you cannot help but think of Octavia, or the creature she has become. The creature that called herself Latari has disappeared without a trace. The Archduke's men scour the entire city, but cannot find her. Will you ever see her fragile, ethereal silhouette again? Yeah, it's rather strange. Well, we betrayed Octavia. But, hey. I'm not quite sure it's Octavia anymore, right? And with that, our reputation is at 10. Archduke's daughter has transformed into a mysterious creature, neither Arachne nor human in nature. Yes, I think it is a good idea to sever ties with Octavia. Alright, a glorious bloodline, because we got reputation to 10. Recent events have cemented the noble reputation of the Brante family. Now every elite family in Anazote respects your name and holds it in high regard. Your actions speak for themselves. Your reputation is spotless. You honor the traditions of the Empire. The noble families have come to rely on your word. The Brontes are now the most honorable of the newly formed bloodlines. You have not earned the hereditary title, yes, but the city's nobles are all but certain that you will be ennobled by the sword very soon. Your name is often mentioned to Overseer Gaius Tempest, along with the highest praise. So we get a diplomacy and a valor. The Brante family earns great renown, becoming the newest eminent dynasty in Anazote. That seems pretty good, I must say. Okay, the runaway bride. So, Gloria is not married, and And we haven't severed any ties with Gloria, so let's see what this entails. For some time now, you have been trying remain aloof from family members. Trying to? The conflict between Stephen and Gloria has not been resolved, and you have refused to take sides. You are confident that they have been plotting and scheming against each other all this time. And now Stephen's efforts are about to bear fruit. All the arrangements have been made. All the negotiations are done. Gloria is about to leave the Brante home to marry Sir Jose El Pelletier, the noble of the sword who has fallen madly in love with her. Your sister fought tooth and nail, but could not hold her ground against Stephen forever. It was no easy task to arrange this match between a nobleman and a commoner, whose father has rejected her. Every single member of El Pelletier's family did their best to change the young nobleman's mind, but he refused to relent. Stephen did his best too. He spent an entirety convincing the groom's family that Gloria has received an excellent education and will make Sir Jose a fine wife. And so the wedding day has come. The family prepares Gloria for the long journey. The wedding ceremony will be held at a church next to the El Pelletier estate. As tradition demands, no one else is allowed to attend the wedding. Gloria is completely silent today. She meekly allows the servants to change her into the coarse, humble garments of her lot. Her lot demands she wear before the twins, all without saying a word. Gloria, say something, I beg you. This marriage is the best thing the Brante family could do for you. You're about to join a noble bloodline. Gloria stares back at Sir Robert, her mother's husband who never became her father. There's bitter sorrow in her gaze. I think it's more likely I'll be added to their family's opulent collection as another exhibit. But still, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, Sir Robert. You've destroyed the last of my illusions. My fate rests in the hands of my noble masters, and it always will. Father responds with a heavy sigh. At a loss for words, you prepare not to intervene. Gloria would rather not speak to you anyway. Just outside the door, you hear the neighing of horses and Stephen's excited voice. Gloria, your groom has arrived. The man who enters Gloria's chambers behind Stephen is Gloria's betrothed, Sir Jose El Pelletier himself. His dignified bearing and the thin features of his wistful face betray his noble origins. An elegant earring glints in his ear, a concession to modern high fashion. El Pelletier greets the bride's family with a gallant bow and kisses the hem of Gloria's dress. The young noble of the sword takes great pains to remain composed, but, standing so close to his future wife, he cannot help but let his emotions show. Good sirs, I fell in love with Gloria the moment I laid eyes on her at that fateful party so long ago. If I may, I give you my word that you are giving her to a respected and prosperous home. And, from what Sir Stephen has told me, your family's standing will only benefit if Gloria becomes a member of another family. After all, I am a born nobleman with a hereditary title. No scandalous rumors or gossip regarding my wife's origins can ever harm me. And any man who dares to speak a word of slander against Gloria shall face a duel to the true death. Well said indeed. A most wonderful outcome for everyone involved. Gloria will want for nothing. I will keep her safe from all the world's troubles, free to write poetry, indulge in entertainment, and serve her husband. The enamored noble gazes at Gloria with a tender expression. She hides her eyes behind her unkempt hair. There's a hopeless look about her. Gloria, my love, it is time. Our journey calls. The temple is ready for the ceremony. Very soon we shall announce the sacred intertwining of our destinies to the twins themselves. And then your new home and new life await. Gloria looks up. There is an obstinate glimmer in her eyes, so familiar with your childhood years. No! I don't agree to any of this. I'm not a member of the Brante family, after all. They can't trade me away as though I were their property. I'm a bastard child of lowly birth, and that's what I'll remain. At a loss for words, El Pelletier turns to Stephen. He expects an explanation. Enough, you're embarrassing us. Am I? As far as you're concerned, all I've ever done is embarrass the Brante family, so deal with it. Gloria breaks free of El Piloteer's embrace. He lets her go, utterly baffled. I'm leaving. I'll live out on the street, or on Skid Row. I don't care. Goodbye. And goodbye, Angelo. I took care of you my entire childhood, but you still wouldn't stand up for me. This isn't my home anymore. I'm gone. Gloria rushes down the stairs, her rage fueling her speed. No one has the courage to stop her. Stephen barely musters enough composure in the face of the fiasco. What is the meaning of this, Stephen? You told me she agreed to this wedding. Do you have any idea how this will sully the reputation of the El Pelletier dynasty? Enough, Jose. I'm just as flabbergasted as you are. Is this another one of your schemes, Angelo? I can't trust anyone in this house. Stephen begins to pace around the room, driven by helpless rage. El Pelletier shakes his head. He returns to his carriage with a scornful expression. Gloria runs away from home. You cannot find her, no matter how hard you search the surrounding neighborhoods. Did she find a refuge in the seedy underbelly of Anazote? Did she leave the city entirely? You will never know. The Brante home feels emptier now without her. You wander the halls, lost in memories. You remember Gloria leading you by the hand through the yard and showing you the shining pillar for the very first time. You remember playing together. You remember how you and Stephen went looking for her in the Anazote ruins. You remember the quill and paper that were your sister's constant companions. You refused to get involved in your sister's destiny, and now you have lost her. Well, that's rough. Gloria has fled. It's been a bad life for Gloria, I must say, but she's been quite the troublemaker. Not that Stephen is any better. So that loses us 2 reputation and 2 unity. That hurts. Thomas's wedding. Well, I guess we'll have one marriage this episode at least. This is a day you'll remember well. It began with a loud, impatient knock at the door. You were surprised to see Thomas paying a visit to your home. There's a joy on his face as your old friend shakes your hand. Brante, it's been a while since I saw you last. I just got back to the city. I visited my folks. They then ran straight here. Otten finally stopped hounding me. I sure hope this whole mess is over for good. You invite your friend in, but he gestures for you to wait, a sly smile on his face. I'm in a hurry right now, buddy. So much to do, so little time. I'll explain. I just got back from Solmina. There was this girl in the village, a shopkeeper named Mire. She gave me shelter, and I ended up falling head over heels in love with her. You congratulate your friend and pat him on the shoulder with joy. He laughs happily. My poor ma and pa. All their life they'd hoped I'd marry a noble woman. I used to hope for that too when I was young, but now I know some things matter more than noble titles. Mire's about to be my wife. You offer Thomas words of congratulation, but he suddenly grows serious. Otten's left me alone, but Mire and I will still be better off far away from Anazote. I wasn't happy serving in the Legion anyway. I thought the nobleman's lot would set me free from suffering and do the same for my descendants, but it just ain't that simple. I was less free than ever. I'll be better off as a commoner again, earning my living by the sweat of my brow. A farmstead might not be an estate, but the high and mighty won't ever set their sights on me again. I'll live my life in peace, just like I wanted. I've just got one last request for you, though, Angelo. You've done so much for me, but I'd be honored if you'd witness the wedding be a witness to my wedding vows before the twins. Well, we are not priests, so we can't do this. We can bid Thomas farewell, or we can bear witness to him. Because we have the bond of friendship, this is better. So I guess it makes a whole lot of sense to take this. Let's bear witness to their wedding vows. You and Thomas have come a long way together, and now you will see him off to a new life. Your hand comes to rest on Thomas's shoulder. It would be an honor and a privilege for you to bear witness to your friend's wedding. Thomas glows with joy. Wonderful. You've got no idea how much this means to me, Angelo. I gotta go get ready. Several days later, you follow your childhood friend to a smallish temple nestled in the edge of the Brass District. He is wearing a plain white shirt. Needless luxuries are forbidden to the austere wedding ritual. You are both welcomed by the bride and blonde-haired young woman. You are both welcomed by the bride, a blonde-haired young woman. Innocence and hospitality written across her trusting face. The bride's parents stand further away, two aging villagers eyeing the streets of the big city with suspicion. Mireille, meet Angelo Brante, my best friend ever since we were lads. He'll bear witness to our oaths before the twins. The bride greets you with a humble bow. The three of you step inside the temple. You close the doors behind you. Tradition demands no one else be allowed to attend the sacred wedding ritual. An amiable aged priest by the name of Ignatius Aventini meets you inside. Thomas and Mireille kneel before the altar. O twins, elder and younger, behold these two as they kneel before you. They beseech you to join them in eternal wedlock. The candle flames dance and quiver. You hear a strange murmur in the temple. The darkness beneath the vault of the temple ceiling swirls into two colossal shades. The bride and groom raise their eyes to them, awestruck. Thomas, dost thou swear thy loyalty to this divine union? I do. The bride assents to the same query. Your turn is next. You stand over the kneeling bride and groom and speak their names as the twins watch over you. Thomas Guerrero and Mireille of Silmina. One of the colossal shades leans over them, looming towards a towering sword, while the other bursts in a beacon of blinding light that illuminates the temple from within. Thomas and Mireille look into each other's eyes in amazement. From this moment forth, they are bound to one another by divine law. A divine love fills their hearts. In your sight of the twins, Thomas Guerrero and Mireille of Silmina are now man and wife, as Angelo Brante bears witness. The stern, solemn ceremony has ended. It is time to celebrate. A humble but happy feast is to be held in the bride's village. As day gives way to night, you and Thomas leave the revel to enjoy a moment of quiet repose on the front porch. Your old friend looks off into the distance, hopeful. Yeah, remember how we fought in that yard over our little brothers? Look how much has happened since then. Both of you laugh as you recall the beginning of your friendship. I'll treasure those memories forever, I will. And you can be sure that my firstborn son's name will be Angelo. Thomas chuckles, pondering. You and I, we grew up on the same street, but look how different we turned out. You have a say in other people's fates, Brante. Your name will surely be remembered, but me, I'm still a humble nobody. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I used to be so sure a man could never start over with a clean slate, but I guess I was wrong. I'll never forget you, Angelo Brante, and I'll never forget everything you've done for me. A tear runs down your friend's cheek. For the last time, Thomas embraces you. Tomorrow he will leave Anazote forever. Will you ever meet again? Nobody knows. Well, I'm glad things have turned out good for Thomas. You see Thomas off to his new life, far from all the danger and chaos. Well, a good outcome. It may not turn out so good for Gloria, but good for Thomas. And with that, it's time to end this video. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. I love you. Not really.